In wrestling, you have giants, icons, and superstars. But then there's a completely different level. There are legends whose reputations are built on actual scars, not scripts. Men who weren't just playing a character, they were legitimately tough. And in that group, one name is spoken like he's the final boss. A man so tough, so intimidating, that he is the ultimate benchmark for being a real-life tough guy. His name was Harley Race. A lot of wrestlers act tough, but Harley Race was tough. It wasn't a gimmick, it was who he was. This is a reputation he earned in actual bar fights, proved in backstage confrontations, and cemented in the minds of the biggest legends in wrestling history. He's so legendary that other tough guys get quiet when his name comes up. This is the insane story of the man who confronted Hulk Hogan and the same guy who earned the ultimate respect of the Undertaker. We're talking about the time he walked into a rival locker room, supposedly with a weapon, to take on the biggest star in the world by himself. We'll explore the night he allegedly pulled a gun on a young Ric Flair, and why, even now, just saying his name would make other wrestlers nervous. We are about to uncover the craziest real-life stories and wrestling legends, the bar fights, the biker brawls, and the backstage justice that made handsome Harley Race one of the most feared men to ever enter a ring. This isn't just about him being an 8-time world champion. This is about the man behind the title, a man who lived by the insane code of old-school wrestling. To understand how tough this guy was, you have to see what he went through. Harley Race's legendary toughness started way before wrestling. Some stories say that as a kid, he beat a severe case of polio, a fight that should have left him crippled, but instead just gave him an unbreakable will. It's like this early challenge completely removed his ability to feel fear, and that defined his entire life. He got expelled from high school for fighting his principal, and as a teenager in the 1950s, he found wrestling. He started his career when the business was protected by legitimately tough guys who would literally beat up and kick out anyone who couldn't handle it. But right when his career was starting, something horrible happened. In 1961, Race was in a car crash so bad his pregnant wife, Vivian, died instantly just 5 weeks after they got married. The paramedics at the scene thought Race was dead, too. It wasn't until a second ambulance showed up that they realized he was barely alive. His leg was so messed up that doctors said amputation was the only choice, and his career was over. But here's where the legend begins. His promoter, Gus Karras, reportedly stormed into the hospital and forbid them from amputating, demanding they do everything possible to save the leg. What came next was an insane recovery. Doctors told him he might never walk again, let alone wrestle. But Harley Race doesn't do never. Through pure willpower, he didn't just walk again. He fought his way back into a wrestling ring, carrying the physical scars and unbelievable mental strength from everything he survived. This guy wasn't playing a character. He had literally faced death and didn't even blink. That resilience became the foundation for his entire career. After surviving all that, Harley Race didn't just come back to wrestling. He came back to completely dominate it. He climbed the ranks of the National Wrestling Alliance, which was the biggest wrestling organization in the world. The NWA wasn't one company, it was a bunch of regional territories, and their world champion was the King, a traveling fighter who defended the title against the top star in every single city. The NWA needed a champion who wasn't just a great wrestler, but a legit enforcer. It was an unofficial job, but it was the most important one. The champ had to be able to destroy any local hero who tried to go off script and win the title for real to embarrass the champion and the NWA. He was the NWA's policeman, and nobody was better for that job than Harley Race. Between 1973 and 1984, Race won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship 8 separate times. a record that made him one of the all-time greats. Back then, the title meant you were the best in the world, and his title reigns were all about grit and a super believable, hard-hitting style. He wasn't flashy, but he was 100% real. In the ring, Race was known for his insane diving headbutt from the top rope, a crazy move that showed he did not care about his own body. His delayed vertical suplex was a massive show of strength, and it was so good that Ric Flair has said he perfected it. He was also one of the only guys with the raw power to body slam Andre the Giant, something he did years before Hulk Hogan's famous slam at WrestleMania 3. Race's reputation as the NWA's enforcer was completely real. There are so many stories about this from his time in Japan. One of the most famous ones is about a match with Japanese superstar Jumbo Tsuruta. The story goes that Tsuruta was being disrespectful in the ring, so after the match, a furious Race supposedly dragged Tsuruta into the promoter's office and slapped him right across the face as a little reminder of who the real boss was. This was classic Harley Race: fast, brutal, and violent enforcement of wrestling's unwritten rules. It was this role as the guardian of the old school that would lead to a massive showdown with the man who was about to change wrestling forever, Hulk Hogan. In the early 1980s, the wrestling world was made up of territories that had a deal not to invade each other's areas. Harley Race wasn't just the NWA's champion, he was also a promoter in Kansas City. Then, Vince McMahon showed up with his plan for a global wrestling empire, and it was all powered by Hulkamania. When the WWF started expanding, it destroyed the territory system. One of the first places they went after was Kansas City. By booking Hulk Hogan, the new face of wrestling, right in Race's territory, the WWF directly attacked Race's business. It's been estimated that this invasion cost Harley Race a crazy amount of money, with some people saying it was over $500,000. For Race, this wasn't just business, it was a personal attack on the code he lived by, and he was not going to let it happen. What happened next is one of the most insane backstage stories in wrestling history. People tell it differently, but the main story is absolutely terrifying. According to Hulk Hogan's crazy retelling, the WWF ring crew warned him that Race had already been at the arena trying to set the ring on fire and was looking for him. Ric Flair, who was wrestling nearby that night, has his own version. He claims an angry Race left his own show, pulled out a 9mm handgun, and said, "I'll be back," before heading to the WWF event to, as Flair put it, kill Hulk. Hogan says he tried to hide from Race at a restaurant. Right before his main event, he went to a bathroom in the arena. He says Davey Boy Smith burst in yelling, "Harley's here! He's going to kill you!" Hogan claims he ran out and came face to face with Race, who was holding a gun. According to Hogan, Race told him, "I came here to blow your damn kneecaps off, but I'd rather work with you guys." Harley Race told his side of the story in later interviews, but he was way calmer about it. He said he walked into the silent WWF locker room and gave Hogan a hard, open-hand slap to the ribcage, which is insanely painful. He confirmed he had a gun, but said it wasn't a big deal. No matter which version you believe, the core of the story is this: an angry Harley Race, whose business was being attacked, went to a rival wrestling show and physically intimidated its biggest star. In a world of fake fights, this was 100% real. It was a clash between the old guard and the new world, and Harley Race was the old guard's last and most dangerous sheriff. The Hogan incident is the most famous, but it was just one part of the legend of Harley Race's real-life toughness. His reputation was built on countless locker room stories and eyewitness accounts of him using violence to solve problems. These stories are passed down like folklore, painting a picture of a man who demanded absolute respect. One of the most legendary stories is about how much Race loved playing pool. The story goes that Race would walk into a bar, see a line of quarters on the pool table for the next game, and just sweep them all onto the floor, saying, "I've got next." It was a complete power move, a test to see if anyone in the bar was dumb enough to challenge him. The legend says almost nobody ever was. Another story told by Ric Flair is about how incredibly fast Race was in a bar fight. Flair says Race was confronted by two guys. With shocking speed, he allegedly knocked the first man out with a massive left hand, and in the same motion, spun around and leveled the second guy with a brutal headbutt, ending the fight in seconds. With two men on the ground, Race supposedly just walked to the bar and calmly ordered a beer. His toughness wasn't just for people at bars, he used it to keep other wrestlers in line. Dr. Tom Pritchard shared a story about the wild wrestling team, the Fabulous Freebirds. According to the story, Race calmly pointed to his gear bag and told them, "See that bag right there? That's mine. If one drop of piss gets on it, I'm going to beat the shit out of each one of you." He delivered the threat so quietly and seriously that the message was received loud and clear. But maybe the craziest story comes from his former tag team partner, Larry the Axe Hennig. As Hennig tells it, Race was in a restaurant when he saw a man attacking a woman. Race stepped in and beat the man down. But then, another person supposedly stabbed Race in the back with a switchblade. According to the legend, the blade was stopped by Race's insane back muscles and rib cage, and the knife actually folded on impact, saving him from what should have been a fatal wound. These stories are basically parables about a man who lived by an old code of honor, respect, and, if he had to, brutal payback. They show why he was so respected and so feared. In the world of pro wrestling, Harley Race was the law. It's one thing for us to call a wrestler tough. It's something else entirely when the most respected and feared men in the business are the ones saying it. Race's reputation was acknowledged by literally everyone. There's a famous quote from the legendary manager Bobby the Brain Heenan that perfectly sums it up. Heenan, who knew everybody's secrets, said that André the Giant, a man who was afraid of nobody, was only truly cautious around two people on the planet, Haku and Harley Race. For André to respect someone's toughness spoke volumes about how legit they were. But no story shows the mix of fear, respect, and old-school knowledge that defined Race better than the one told by The Undertaker. On his podcast, The Undertaker talked about showing up to a WCW show with the hip injury so bad he could barely walk. Harley Race, who was working backstage, saw the young Undertaker limping and stepped in. Even though Undertaker had already seen a chiropractor, Race insisted, "Not the way I'm going to adjust you." He had the Undertaker lie on a table, grabbed his leg, and started making big circles. Then, with a sudden, forceful push, there was a huge pop, which the Undertaker said sounded like a cannon going off. And just like that, the pain was completely gone. The random and honestly brutal adjustment actually worked. This was Harley Race, a no-nonsense, old-school problem solver who had a kind of practical knowledge you just can't learn. That one moment earned him the Undertaker's lifelong respect. This respect even applied to his business deals. Rumor has it that Vince McMahon once offered Race a crazy amount of money, reportedly up to $250,000, to not show up to Starrcade 83, the NWA's biggest event, where he was supposed to lose the title to Ric Flair. Race, a man of his word, said no. He showed up, put Flair over in a legendary steel cage match, and passed the torch in one of the biggest moments of the 1980s. Business was business, and his word was everything. These stories are just the beginning when it comes to the legends of wrestling's golden age. If you love these insane, real stories from behind the scenes, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button for more wrestling history. And let us know in the comments which wrestling legend's crazy stories we should do next. After his legendary NWA career, and his time in the WWF as King Harley Race, he kept going in wrestling. He became a manager in WCW, most famously for the monster Big Van Vader, leading him to the WCW World Championship. In his later years, he went back to Missouri and opened a wrestling school and promotion, World League Wrestling, where he trained a whole new generation of wrestlers. When you look back at wrestling history, the word tough is used a lot. There are so many guys who could be the toughest ever, like Haku and Bruiser Brody. But Harley Race's claim is completely unique. His toughness was on multiple levels. He was tough in the ring, an 8-time NWA champion who could wrestle for an hour every night. He was tough outside the ring, a man whose bar fight stories are actual wrestling folklore. And he was tough as a businessman, a promoter who stood his ground when a global empire tried to take him out. He was the definition of an era when a champion had to be more than just an entertainer. He had to be an enforcer and a real fighter. His face, scarred and weathered, was a map of a life lived with zero compromise. There's a quote often attributed to Race in wrestling lore, where he supposedly said, "If I punch a man with my left hand and he doesn't fall down, I'm going to look behind him to see what's holding him up." That was Harley Race. Not a character, but a man made of pure granite and grit. The king, the champion, and for so many who knew him, the toughest son of a gun to ever lace up a pair of boots.